guys, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Adrian Avina. We just got off of Lake Cherokee, finished 34th overall, and man, it was one of them tough events. It was kind of unique. You know, we've never been to Cherokee Lake, and it was a pretty unique style of fishing. And I'm just going to go over kind of a little bit of what I did and how the days unfolded, and one crucial thing, and they highlighted it throughout the event, but 7 or 8 out of the top 12 guys were running that bad trolling motor right there. That's the Minn Kota Ultrex, brand new. It has a spot lock technology, so you press a button, it holds you in position. And when it comes down to offshore fishing, that is definitely one key. And luckily for me, I called up Tackle Direct literally a week before the event, and they're able to ship one out to me, and I was able to throw it on my boat. And that was definitely one key to being successful. And I'm just going to go over a little bit, you know, kind of what we were doing. Prior to the event, doing a lot of research, I knew there was a technique that was called demikiing. And basically what that was is using some type of jig head and putting on a shad type style bait and fishing vertical for them smallmouth. You know, they're in a wintertime pattern, and that's how we were catching them. But I'm just going to go over my setup for that. You know, so here, this is a brand new Abu Garcia Fantastistas. It's an awesome setup. Here I'm using actually a little bit shorter of a rod. This is a 6/8. The thing about using a shorter rod in this technique is your whole goal is you're trying to keep this little bait right here inside your cone. And basically what I mean by that is you're watching your 2D sonar up there on the front, watching my Lowrance graphs, and you're trying to keep that bait right underneath your boat. And a key to that is using a shorter rod, so you're not extending it far past that trolling motor, and it's staying in your cone. And basically what we were doing with this is here's just a little shad body. This is the VMC Moon Eye. Jacob Wheeler, he won the event, and him and I were staying together. This is basically the same setup he was using. One little twist I was doing is I was putting some gulp spray on there, trying to marinate that overnight. For whatever reason, smallmouth just absolutely love gulp scent. So I basically marinated that overnight. And what I was doing with this is I was dropping it down. So what I was kind of surfing these areas. You know, a lot of these smallmouth are relating to some type of rock or a depression. And once I found the bait and once I found the fish, I would get over top of them using my Lowrance graphs. And once I would see that arc, I would drop this bait straight down. This here is a 3/8 ounce. On the calmer days, I was using a 1/4, but 3/8 is probably my go-to. Fishing on real light line. That light line would allow that bait to get down there real fast, because that was the key, is you wanted to get that bait down there as fast as you could to those fish, because a lot of times they're between 25 to 40 foot of water, so you had to use real light line. So this here is 6-pound trilene 100% fluorocarbon, a shorter rod, 6'8", medium action. You want something that's going to load up, something pretty soft because you're using a light wire hook. This here is a brand new reel by Abu Garcia. This is the Revo Rocket. It's a real fast reel. You can catch up a lot of line. So especially whenever you're fishing that real deep water, and say if you're kind of drifting, maybe casting this bait along, and then all of a sudden you're seeing an arc on your screen, you want to reel that bait as fast as you can, and to get it up so you can re-drop that presentation. And having a real fast gear ratio spinning reel was definitely a key to catching a couple extra fish. So if they weren't biting that, a lot of times they'd come up on it, they'd rise, they would look at it. This is a highly pressured technique out there in Cherokee Lake in eastern Tennessee. I would go ahead and use this. This here is a Rapala jigging wrap. And one key to it is the stock treble hook it comes with is garbage. I mean, I throw that out. I replace that with a Fusion treble. That's a number 6. And same kind of deal, similar setup, a shorter rod, like a 6.5, 7 foot rod, medium action, lighter line. Again, this is 10-pound trilene 100% fluorocarbon. But another key, you know, I keep on talking about these fast gear ratio reels. This here is a Revo ALX. It's an 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, really fast. So same thing, you know, I see one on the graph, I want to get ahead and reel that rod in, or reel that line as fast as I can so I could re-drop on them fish. That was definitely a key, having a fast gear ratio reel. Now, when we fish these tournaments, we always have a plan B, C, and D. I was pretty much, I mean, all my eggs in one basket, trying to really make that work. But the second day I had only 8 or 9 pounds, real lightweight. And I decided to get ahead and run up shallow. And this is something I really didn't practice. I kind of did it on a limb. I knew I had the weight to make the cut, but I just didn't have enough weight to maintain the position that I was in, which is in the top 15th place or 14th place on day one. So I decided to go cranking. You know, that's something I love to do. The water temperature is around 50. We're on a warming trend. And whenever you have a warming trend, even though you're dealing with 50-degree water temperatures, there's always going to be an afternoon bite, especially if it's sunny outside, if you have a mild day in the wintertime. And this here is one of my go-to crankbaits. I've really been throwing it the last couple years, but I mean, I've caught more fish on this bait in the last couple years than I have most of the crankbaits that are in the boat. And this here is a Digger 6.5. Actually, I was throwing a red one, but unfortunately I lost quite a few of them that day. I was throwing it around a lot of snaggy stuff. But again, the combo with this is a shorter rod again. It's a 610 medium light. This is a Villain 2.0. It's a cranking series reeling. A slower gear ratio reel. This here is, again, an ALX, but it's a slower gear ratio. It's a 6.4 to 1. Throwing on light line, 10-pound fluorocarbon. And this was my plan B. I was doing that every afternoon, and I was able to get a few key bites. But next time you're out there, I don't care if it's Cherokee Lake or if it's out there West Coast, South, it doesn't matter. These techniques are going to work, especially in wintertime patterns. So we're going to be doing another recap. This is going to be a thing that we're doing all the time. So stay tuned. Okeechobee's next. Hopefully we can catch them there.